It's not just politicians on the ballot next Tuesday. In some states, there are referendums for new legislation. Our Laura Rogers examines both sides of a particularly controversial issue in her special report.
Tonight, we introduce you to a Hart County woman hard at work in her greenhouse and in her kitchen, pruning plants and baking treats to sell at the farmer's market. 3 years ago, she faced a life-changing medical diagnosis. Here is her story. Nicole Nemo is a farmer.
Come on, baby.
A grower, a producer.
This is your green oak.
A lover of the land.
Cut and go, cut and go.
In her greenhouse, tenderly caring for hydroponic lettuce and greens.
She was fanning herself to try to keep from crying because she had never seen anyone that would do vegan, gluten-free baked goods, and they actually taste good.
A college graduate with a chemistry degree, she's also a baker who has perfected recipes for gluten and dairy-free baked goods. But last year, Nicole was caught growing a plant that landed her on the wrong side of the law, marijuana.
Our home was raided. When you've never been involved with police, when someone knocks on your door at 9 o'clock at night, you expect them to tell you that you have a family member that is dead.
In 2013, at 28 years old, Nicole was diagnosed with mixed cellularity Hodgkin's lymphoma.
2 days after the biopsy, I got a phone call at 10 o'clock on a Saturday. It was cancer.
Fighting rheumatoid arthritis since she was 13, Nicole had taken numerous prescription drugs to manage pain, but cancer was a whole new ballgame.
Because of how aggressive chemotherapy is, it was hell.
To avoid side effects, Nicole chose a different approach to alleviate her pain.
You take the pill, you somewhat have relief, but you don't have full relief. With cannabis, I was able to get full relief.
After authorities were tipped off to Nicole's marijuana grow,
my husband started growing it in order to avoid going to drug dealers' homes.
She and her husband spent 22 hours in jail, 9 days of home incarceration, and were slapped with a $10,000 fine.
I was actually functioning at the best I had had in my entire adult life while using cannabis. We weren't hurting anybody. We were just the kings of our own castle, and people came in and told us we couldn't be.
It is stories like Nicole's that have helped foster and shape the conversation about decriminalizing medicinal marijuana, now legal in 25 states.
What this discussion is doing with our young people, it's sending a message to them, marginalizing the significance of this drug.
Ed Shamalia is director of the National Marijuana Initiative and says legalization has influenced people, especially youth, to not understand its full risk and harm.
We're seeing smokable product in Colorado exceeding 40% in concentration. And then when you start extracting THC and you're putting it in edibles, we're seeing concentration levels in the 90+% range. And that's what makes this drug so dangerous.
Shamalia says we don't know how increasingly higher levels of THC are affecting brain development.
We have no idea what today's marijuana is doing to our young people.
That evidence has not been enough to stop states like California, Colorado, and Pennsylvania, who have either passed bills or let voters decide if marijuana should be legal.
What other medicine do you know that the patient gets to determine when they take it, how much they take, and to what level they take it? Or that state legislators get to tell you how much you can produce as a patient.
Nicole argues the laws and penalties in the bluegrass are too severe.
I can have cannabis in the state of Kentucky and it can ruin my life. Or I can drive 6 hours north to Michigan, have a prescription, and it saved my life.
Shamalia says it shouldn't be up to voters or legislators to decide if marijuana is medicine.
We have a process in this country. It's called the FDA. And that's the process where we vet all pharmaceuticals, all drugs, to determine the efficacy and safety of those drugs before we release them to the public.
For Nicole, she's already convinced.
I hope that myself and others can have the medicine they deserve, that they know works for them, without fear of prosecution, just so that they can have a better quality of life.
And Nicole's cancer is now in remission. The debate continues. Medical marijuana is on the ballot in Arkansas, Florida, Montana, and North Dakota on Tuesday. It is expected to come up yet again in Kentucky when the state legislature returns to Frankfort next year. For states where medicinal marijuana is now legal, under federal law, doctors can only write a recommendation for it, not a prescription.